For today's night training homework from the Knights Hall, working specifically on footwork, so very, very basic fundamentals, fundamental stance, fundamental movements. We call it the night stance, whatever you want. But basically how we're trained to move in armor, and how we're trained to move around to make sure we stay on balance and position ourselves for fights, get in and out of range, things like that. So I'm going to be doing my 100 strikes like that today while working on my footwork and my stance. So I'm going to back up a little bit here. You can see my feet. So again, I'm a lefty, but I'll do it righty for a second. So normal stance is going to be, you have your legs a little bit wider than shoulder width or shoulder apart, not real wide, and you're not going to be, stand this way, you're not going to have your legs way out like this. You want a relatively narrow stance in armor due to the fact you have all that weight on you, and you want your head over shoulders over feet, or thighs over feet, so you have good balance. If I lean forward, I can pull down. If my legs are wide, someone can kick a leg out. So it's a much narrower stance than a lot of other sports. So shoulder width apart. I got some lefties that way. So I'm going to step basically back so that my back foot is midway through my right foot, my forward foot. So you're going to be forward here, so it's basically this. And that's my entire stance. So you can see it, I think you can see it in the video. That foot is going to be halfway back. You're stepping back there, but halfway back, step it out to midway, and that's my basic stance. Knees bent, balanced, over the shoulder, right? So that's my generic, general stance, sword up. I'm a lefty, so I'm going to flip it as my normal stance like this. And that's how I'm normally going to fight. When I move, I'm moving in small half steps. So I'm pushing and sliding forward and keeping that stance at all times. So I'm sliding that front foot forward, using that back foot to slide into position. If I'm going the other way, I'm sliding this way. Changing angles, I'm still sliding. I'm never picking up, never big steps, never anything that's going to throw myself off balance out of a basic stance. The other thing too is switching stances. So again, doing it as a righty. So right now, go short of the lapel. If I have my generic stance with my sword foot back, and I'm in striking range here. If I slide back, I'm out of striking range. So I'm not going to hit anybody here. I can simply switch my feet and put my sword foot forward, and now I'm back in striking range. Changing that rotation of where your shoulder is positioned changes the way you can strike. So out of range, in range. Now barely, but out of range, in range. And I'm not actually changing my feet at all. I'm not gaining any actual physical distance. I'm gaining reach. As you can see when I switch my feet, you can see the reach change. So there's a lefty, which I'm more comfortable with. I'm in range normal here. Step back, I'm out of range. Switch my feet, I'm back in range. Out of range. Why is that helpful? If I'm fighting someone, especially in a duel, and I'm moving my hands around and I'm maneuvering, throw a couple shots, I'm out of range, switch my feet, suddenly I can hit them. So people can judge distances wrong, or you can adjust distances. One thing I'm working on for myself is my stance in particular, my dual stance, being a lefty. I'm fighting like this. Swords are coming in on this side on me. Right-handed swords are coming in. So we're blocking sword to sword. Unlike a normal fighter, actually a right-handed fighter playing regular righty, you're going to be blocking shield. We'll block the sword shots, and my sword's going towards their shield arm. So the fight's a little different. For me, I'm going to often try to fight with my shield across my body. So I'm actually turning my stance a little bit for duels, with sword across the body, and working on that. I'm getting more blocking. I'm not worried with the weapon coming in on this side as much. So I can do that with either stance, with my sword foot forward for extra range. Go back this way for a little less range, but actually a little more power for me. I can torque that in a little harder. So that's basically it. What I'm going to be doing is just throwing shots into different stances, switching stance, getting comfortable doing that, moving. And I'm throwing the same shot right now. Basically, I'm really focused on just keeping those feet positioned in the right place. Switch that stance up. So I've got that footwork. You can see I even got my stance too wide there. I'm going to pull it back in and reset it. Switch out, so now I'm out of range. Switch in range. Out of range. In range. That's really it. The drill for this, when you're not using the sword itself, just get your feet in your stance. Practice that slide. Practice getting that motion down until it becomes natural, until you're not fighting like this. There will be times in a real fight, obviously, you're going to lunge forward and throw a shot. But you're breaking the fundamental motion, which is okay once you have the fundamentals down. I equate it to learning how to play basketball. You learn to throw your jump shot, like elbow, L shape, hand on the side, take the shot. In a game, I got a defender who's 6'6" on me. I may be leaning back and shooting over his head and having weird form and things like that. That's fine once you have the fundamentals down. So I'm constantly training fundamentals. The one thing I'll say about this video as well, before we go further, please take everything I say with a grain of salt and go to thenightshall.com and get real training. This is like if you watch Karate Kid 1. I'm like Daniel's son trying to teach you martial arts out of like a book. You look at a picture of a kick, you're learning it, and then like Mr. Miyagi's right there, and you could actually go to him and learn how to do it right. So go to Mr. Miyagi, go to the Knights Hall, learn how to do it. So that's it. I'm going to finish up my last few shots after the video, make sure I get to my full 100. If you have questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook under Woodchuck Knight. You can like and subscribe, leave comments here. I'll leave links in the Knights Hall below, as well as where I get my wooden swords, because I like hickory arms online a lot. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps.